Hello, 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 hello. Yes, we're here again. Yes. It is another Thursday. Welcome to the Question Live Show with, of course, your host, Verona Willis-Brown. So, what is it? It is Thanksgiving Thursday. What is it that you're thankful for? I'm thankful every week just to be here. I'm thankful that I'm breathing, that I'm looking, that I'm seeing, that I'm feeling, that I'm alive and well. Yes. And I'm so thankful for every time that you show up. Each time that you show up, you're not showing up only for yourself, but you're showing up for us. And each time I show up, I'm not showing up for myself, I am showing up for you. So it's another episode of the Question Live Show. We are going to be closing out April on some high notes. Can you believe April came and April left? April came in and April was gone. But right now, it's supposed to be spring. But it seems like it's winter. I don't know where you are tuning in from, but wherever you're tuning in from, if you have a weather that's over 80 degrees, I would like to trade. I would like to trade my cold weather, which is 40 degrees, with your 85 degrees with sunshine. So if you do have that, please get in touch with me after the show so we can do a little deal. We can do a little trading. We can talk. So that's enough of the weather. Now, welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, where you see that says live, simply mean you are in the live audience. Absolutely. And if this is not your first time tuning in, welcome back to the live show. Welcome back. Now, if this is your first time, we do have house rules there. Yes, we do. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, or maybe 1.5, 2.5. Whatever it is, we do have house rule here. Now, here are the rules. Rule number 1. If you look up there, you see that says live. Yes, right there in the red. It says live. Simple mean you need to share the live. Yes, share the live and invite someone else to come on in and sit and enjoy the live show. Why should you want to be selfish? We are not selfish people. We're supposed to share. Sharing is caring, they say. 2, have your pen, have your paper ready. Because here we drop juicy contents and golden nuggets, something that would inspire you and educate you and empower you and move you into the next level of your life. And then 3, have something to drink. I don't know what you drink. Maybe it is water, wine, tea, soda, juice. I don't know what is it that you drink, but whatever you drink, please have it. Why would I say that? Because I need for you to sip something for me while I am talking. I am the host. Sometimes I don't get to drink. So we want hydration. So hydrate for me. But guess what tonight? If you've been here before, you know I'm always having my glass of water. But tonight, I changed the tone. Tonight, I come with my cup of tea because we are closing out April in some kind of way. So it requires for me to bring my cup of tea tonight. So whatever you're drinking, it is fine. So now, those are like what? 3.5 rules. Now, if you need to use the bathroom, please go right now and come right back. If you need to call the neighbor, please go do so and come right back. If you need to share with the neighbor, please do so and be right back. Now, if you're ready, then we are ready. So if you're ready, type it in the chat that you are ready so we can roll into April episode where we close the door on April, because tonight my sister is coming with a story for you. If you're ready, say you're ready. Good night, Cheryl. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yes, it is always so good to see you. Welcome back. Before we go into that, listen, if you do have questions, prepare them because we're all going to have some questions tonight. So if you have questions, prepare them because you're going to get a chance to ask the guests questions. That's the name of the show, the Question Line Show. Let me stop talking as I bring on my lovely sister, Tanerra Willis.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful queen. I celebrate you. I celebrate you. I like to celebrate the queen when they show up in the queendom. So I'll always put out the very first question. How are you doing truthfully?
I am doing amazing. Thank you for asking.
Yes, I like truth questions. So I like to say truthfully. That's the key word.
I love that because that invites me to be vulnerable and be honest. I like that. I might add that to my questions.
Yes, because that's at a whole different tone. Because we get so used to saying, "How you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine." "How you doing?" "I'm like, no. Truthfully, because sometimes truthfully we are not doing good.
Yeah, sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we're frustrated. Sometimes we're overwhelmed. Sometimes we don't feel, at peace. So that's great.
Sometimes we don't even feel like talking to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, don't ask me no question.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just happy to be here. But today I am doing amazing.
There we have it. See, that is what we're saying. Please be honest, people. So many times we walk around with this mask, not being truthful. Somebody asks how you doing? Well, today's not a good day. Just say it. You never know what that answer is going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all it is. Be truthful. Take off that mask. Not the literal mask, too. I'm not telling you, but take off that mask and just be you. So, my darling, let us know where you're tuning in from. Give us a little bit of who you are, what is that you're doing out there, and all that good stuff.
All right, sure will. So hello, everybody. My name is Tanerra Willis, and I am a registered nurse by trade and also a CPR instructor. I'm certified in pediatrics. I am also a self-published author 5 times, and I'm also a collaborative author in an anthology that supports colored young girls and women. I am also an entrepreneur. I am a board member of a nonprofit youth organization and a volunteer. And I'm also a church director on top of being a wife, a mother, and a friend. So just like you, I wear many, many, many hats. And thank you so much for asking. Again, I'm excited about this talk tonight.
Whoo. I love when I hear all those titles.
Yes, all the hats we put on.
Hats, we just wear all these hats and we have all these little things and we go. And we as women, we got so many hats.
Yes.
Women. And when I say woman, I could just feel that vibration because that is real life.
Yes.
So when you say woman, we're supposed to have that vibration like woman.
Mm-hmm.
That vibration is supposed to hit you in such a way where you say, I breathe life. I give life. I am life. And we walk around and we have all these titles and I couldn't write fast enough because those who've been here, they'll know that they're going to see my head just bopping because I come ready, honey. I come ready. Every week I'm like, listen, I'm ready. I got my stuff right here. I'm going to be writing down stuff, dropping all the stuff. And I couldn't write fast enough when you were saying all those titles and all the things. So I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Forget it.
So on top of being a registered nurse and a CPR instructor, those are my that's my day job. At the beginning of 2020, I started as a self-published author with my then 8-year-old son. He's 10 now. And then we went on after I published my first book. I said, you know what? I might as well start a business and sell my own book. So then that's how I got into the entrepreneurial realm. And then I when I thought about what I wanted my mission and vision to be, it was to inspire and encourage others. So I used my business, The Amazing Corner, to encourage people to be their best version of themselves. And to me, that's being amazing. And I try to do that by providing resources, information, and access to things that people need to accomplish their goals and improve their lives.
Lord, I don't tell you. This is April, closing the door in April, but some windows are opening.
Yes.
Hello. Some windows are open because we're going into the amazing corner.
Yes.
With Sister Queen right here. We're going in the amazing corner. And I oftentimes look at our sisters and all the hats we wear and all the titles that's attached to us. And I often ask sisters, if you take off all those titles and all those hats, and then they're not in existence, they're not there. Who are you?
Yeah.
As a person, as an individual, without all of that accolades, without all of that, who are you as a woman?
Yeah. As Tanerra, I'm just someone who's trying every day to live with joy and peace. And I'm trying every day to improve my life and the life of those around me by doing God's work, listening to God, honoring God, and just sometimes overcoming my past trials and challenges. So I think if I strip down all those titles and accolades and accomplishments, I'm just a woman just like every other woman who's had some trials. I've had some triumphs. I've had some ups, some pitfalls and valleys, but just I purpose to live with joy and peace. So when that is faltered or affected, or when I fail myself, each day I'm trying to get back in that direction and on that path.
Yes. And I want to celebrate you. You know, I want to. I can't even pick up my. I think I should have my tea right now, but I want to celebrate you. I want to celebrate you from where you're coming from, to where you are right now, to where you're going. I want to celebrate in those three categories: where you're coming from, where you are right now, and where you are going. Because oftentimes we don't get celebrated. Oftentimes we walk around with all these accolades and we acquire all these things, and yet we are not celebrated. I am not saying you personally, because I know you probably get celebrated all the time. Okay, but oftentimes we don't get celebrated. And what I learned to understand that, you see, we have to celebrate ourselves first.
Yes.
Okay, we have to celebrate ourselves first. We have to say, listen, because if I'm not in place, ain't nobody gonna be in place around me.
Yes.
Simple. So you mentioned something like this.
Yes.
Audience, listen, we are going to touch what we came here for tonight, but I want you to see this first, because it was mentioned earlier that you're self-published author, co-author with your then 8-year-old son.
Yes.
Oh,
thank you.
Wow. Tell me about that journey.
Absolutely. So when he was actually 7, I've always been busy. You heard all of the titles. I'm sure I forgot some. So I always tried to make sure my time with my son was filled with quality time. We didn't always have quantity or long lengths of time. We're always going from one thing to another. Just for like today, for an example, is similar to that day. We work all day. We go to our after school activities. We have dinner. Then we have to prep for tomorrow. So that's exactly what was happening on that day. We were coming from swim class. I was helping him wash his hair. And I wanted to make sure we interact and we're not just hurriedly moving from one space to another and not engaging and having meaningful time with one another. So I started to ask some questions because I always try to engage him in a creative way, and him not knowing, I'm always trying to educate him and pull different things out of him without him realizing that I'm doing it intentionally. So I asked him questions like, if you could be a superhero, what kind of superhero would you be? And then what would he do? And what would he look like? And tell me more, tell me more. And he just went on this long, imaginative, exciting story. And I didn't have to ask questions anymore. He just went on and on and on. And I'm like, whoa, that's a book. I literally said that, like, we should write this down. And we hurried out of the shower, found a composition book, and I started to ask him the questions again and then wrote it down. And we actually started with this version, which is our original version.
Okay.
The copy that you showed up is the second edition, which is the same story, but just with updated illustrations. So we started as, novices, and as we grew and got more experience and knew more resources, we kind of developed our craft.
So you revised the book.
Right. Just new updated illustrations and made some edits that we found along the way.
Yeah. Listen, and I'm glad that he remembers something. I'm glad that you remember when you re-asked him the question. Because sometimes you're like, so this is a question. And you answer it, shoot, it's gone.
Right.
Like, oh, so what did you say? Oh no, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I forgot what I just said. That's like, that's gone. And those are children, and he was 8 then. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to celebrate him too.
Thank you.
You're like, listen, I was trying to tell you, and he got that. He got it going on.
Yeah, he always does that. And that's why I said I'm glad I got at least one book out of him, because every day he tells us long, detailed stories, and you're like,
And if you're mothers, if you are out there, when your children start telling you some story, and I think there's something about the shower.
Yeah.
There's something about the shower. Mothers, parents, go in the shower with your children. There's something about the shower that they get to release.
I was going to say they're relaxed, they're vulnerable, it's a safe space.
Yes. Listen, parents, if y'all don't know this, try it at home.
Yeah, he's almost 11 now. I'm not sure he'll go for it too much. But back then it was open sesame for me.
It's like, well, listen, I'm glad that you got a book out of him at that time.
Yeah, timing is everything.
Time is it. So it's like, you 11. No, you can't come in the bathroom with me.
Or you got to be in and out. We're not hanging out.
You're not hanging out in the bathroom. Sorry. So tell us, what is it like to live in hope and joy?
I think that looks different for everybody. And I think that's one thing as humans, we have to realize that for me, peace is a big piece for me. If I don't have anything else, I need peace, I need security, I need consistency. So a lot with that is about where my hope comes from. Yes. My joy definitely comes from the Lord. And that's something I've learned as I've grown as an adult and grown in my Christianity and learning that, my God is my source, and I'm not looking for people for happiness. I'm not looking for people for joy. I'm not looking for people for my success. So I think that's a good, that would be my answer for the joy piece. Looking to the Lord and knowing that between me, him, and the Holy Spirit, we got this thing.
It's like, we got this. We're a whole team.
Yeah, everybody else, I'm so glad that God gives us people to stand in gaps for us and create community and friendship. But we don't, when those people don't meet our expectations or we don't meet their expectations, we still have that Holy Trinity.
Yeah, and I think it was probably today I was having this conversation with someone, and they were like, I'm like, how you doing? And they're like, oh, a lot of things change, but I'm still here, so all is well. I'm like, but I heard the but before you said all is well. Yeah. And I said, listen, no matter what you do, you must always know that God never changed.
Yeah.
No matter what changes around you, God never changes.
And there'll be so many things we can't explain, so many things that we can't undo, but we just got to look for, a glorious future.
Yeah, and that goes through the word hope. Mm-hmm. If you have hope, you're all right.
Yeah.
You're all right if you have hope. Because you could be hungry, but you have hope that one day I'm not going to be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're missing something right now. But if you have hope, like, God is going to provide.
Yes.
And because when you're talking about hope, is when you're calling the Creator into your space.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're calling the Creator in your space and said, listen, right now I am in this predicament, but you gave me life.
Right.
Right. So We have to learn to go back to God and say, you are responsible for me. And we fail to do this. And maybe a lot of people not understanding that it is your right to go back to God
and call him on his word.
Call on him and remind him and say, listen, you woke me up this morning.
Mm-hmm. That means I have purpose. I have something to do. And you're going to always be with me. And you will not forsake me.
You said, you are not going to forsake me. Yeah. Therefore, if you open my eyes and clear my mind and I got breath, mm-hmm. simply means you are the sole responsible party for me. Mm-hmm. There's no other way to put that.
And he tells us not to worship other people, not to idolize other people. So if I'm putting my focus in you, my hope in you, then come on, God.
Come on now.
It's time to deliver.
They said teamwork, let the dream work. Well, team mm-hmm. Jesus.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we get caught up in maybe trying to say things in a religious way. Yes. You have to be vulnerable and authentic with God. I talk to God just like I'm talking to you right now, if not even more casually.
Look, don't be all religious up in here. Don't be too saved now that you can't talk to Jesus. Like, listen to, let me just tell you right now, I ain't got no money. I just want to let you know. But
yeah, and this hurts, and I don't want to do this anymore.
I want to do this because this is causing me pain. But you see what I'm saying? But you woke me up this morning, so I'm going to ask you what you plan to do.
Yes. How are we getting through this?
How are we getting through this day?
Lead me. Say you will lead me. Say if anyone lacks wisdom, let them ask. I'm asking.
I ask.
I just need to hear from you.
You say ask. I'm like, hello, what's going on? Mm-hmm. What we're doing. Uh-huh. Yeah. So that's that, people. Get it right. This is not about no religious thing. This is about you being real with the Lord.
Relationship.
That's the relationship. Exactly, sis. That's the relationship that you are having with the Creator. And you mm-hmm. have to come to terms of this. Like, have a relationship. Let's say personal relationship. That's the key word. Personal relationship. So you did your book, and we are mothers out there. We mm-hmm. are going to jump into a topic because after my lovely sister here finished her book with her son, she decided to grow up. She's like, listen, I want to be big. I want to be an adult. I want to grow up into myself and have my own book. And she did. She went along and she... I think I should have my tea before I say Audience, I want you to take a close look at this book. A very close look. Gather your questions and be ready. Because this cover, I mean, it took me aback mm-hmm. so much. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here because it took me aback. I saw this cover and I saw the story and it took me aback. It took me aback in the Bible. That's what. Go back to Sarah. Mm-hmm. It took me aback and it took me, I sat there and I studied this cover in such a way because there's so much we could go in with this cover, but I'm going to leave it to you. Yeah. Because I'm going to ask you some questions, but I'm going to breathe and let you take us on the journey from this cover.
Yeah, so let's start with the cover. So the cover did the same thing for me. Yeah. It kind of, I remember me when I saw this young lady. I said, this is exactly how infertility made me feel. This is exactly how month after month where I was trying to get pregnant and I would take a pregnancy test or my menstrual cycle would show up and it would, I would know I was not pregnant. This is the pain I would feel when I was living in shame and guilt and embarrassment of being infertile or not being able to have a child on my own and not telling people and going through it alone. this is exactly how I feel. So I intentionally wanted to grab the reader with the cover to represent the 1 in 8 families who are struggling with infertility, the 1 in 4 pregnancies that end in miscarriage, and also the 1/3 of men who have infertility issues. I wanted this to be a book where anybody could read it and could connect, who could understand, who could leave empowered, who would feel heard. And I also wanted it to be a place where even providers and support persons would get a better glimpse into what women were, well, I would say families are experiencing, because infertility is not just a women's issue, it's a family's issue. It's a national health crisis. There's millions of people dealing with infertility every day. And some people don't even know that it's infertility, because they categorize infertility as not being able to have a child unassisted after a year. But
Yeah.
even if you have multiple miscarriages, that is a sign of infertility. If you've had a stillborn kid, that's infertility. If you need any assistance to get pregnant or to have a child, that's considered infertility. So some people have those issues and don't know that those are all signs of infertility. But there's so many people suffering alone. And like you said, I had started over 11 years ago journaling as I was going through that experience, because I didn't tell a lot of people. And then the people who I did tell, I told them bits and pieces of the story, things that I was comfortable being vulnerable about. But I kept putting it down and putting it down. But over the years, I encountered so many women who also were going through this alone and in silence, and then in shame and guilt and just turmoil. I experienced people losing their marriages, losing their finances. And I'm like, that's not what God wants for us.
No.
You know, we might not have everything that we desire. Things might not be going the way that we want it to be, but God still wants us to have joy and have the abundant life, and He wants to give us an expected end. So that was the purpose of the book. I wanted to capture the readers with the image, but I intentionally put the letters in gold to represent light. I want to let them know there is light, there is hope, there is joy. And then in the back, you can't see it too well, but I showed my picture of my son, and I just wanted to let them know that there we can get to an expected end, we can get to a happy ending, but we might have to use different strategies that we may not realize were even possible. Some people didn't even know, or that, you know, people feel that those are not God's will if it's not natural. But that's not the truth. So it was just a way to share my story, and I included 5 other families so we can connect with as many different people, because infertility looks a lot of different ways.
Yes.
And lastly, I just wanted to share, like you said, women are quick to be supporters. I believe God has made us in that role, but sometimes as being supporters, we forget about ourselves. We stop supporting ourselves. Yes. And I thought it was so important to empower my son and show him that he's amazing and he can be an author. And he doesn't have to wait for anyone to do anything for him and to tell him that he's amazing. And he doesn't even have to wait to be an adult. You're a published author at the age of 8.
Hello.
You know, he's doing book readings and things of that sort. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I've been writing a book for over a year, and I didn't have that same drive and compassion to fulfill my goal.
Yes.
And after I started to do him with him, I remember, like, this is a dream you've had even before you thought of anything for him. So again, when you said I wanted to be an adult, I said, now it's time to put my big girl panties on, fulfill my dream, and then support the women and families that I want to support. So that is the story of Memoirs of Almost Barren Women.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Yes, I have to have my tea now. Audience, I told you this in the beginning, that you need to have yourself ready. My sister. That is a topic.
Yeah, it is. And it's in National Infertility Awareness Week. So it's kind of great timing to have me on it this time.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh, excellent. Excellent. The thing is, women, and I mentioned this earlier, we are life. We are life bearers. Without us, there's nobody. Like, there's nobody without us. And we are coming into place. We are coming in alignment with who we really are. And I think we are coming into that space because we come to realize that we are not alone. And that for a long time, we believe that we are alone.
Yes.
For a long time, we are going through situations and circumstances, especially infertility, and we do like this. And we put ourselves in the cocoon state.
Mm-hmm.
And we fall up ourselves like the little newborn, the little baby, the little fetus.
And that's exactly what I did. I self-isolated. I didn't have to do that. I would have tons of family and support, but out of fear and sadness, grief, shame, all those different things,
All of that.
I pulled away and went through the first season of this alone. And I didn't want that to happen to many more people. I wanted to start to advocate and support and bring awareness and be more free and vulnerable. And that allows other women to be vulnerable and allows them to get more resources and information.
Because that's the whole point. That's the whole point in telling our story. If you're not telling the truth, simply means you're not being truthful.
Yeah. So back to your first question, how are you truthfully?
There you go.
Yeah, someone would have asked me that years ago. Maybe that would have opened my doors a little.
You were like,
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I faked good a lot. A lot of faking.
We oftentimes do that.
Mm-hmm.
We are the imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We oftentimes walk around, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. No. You're crying inside. Mm-hmm. But the broad smile, hello, good morning, how are you? But you're crying. And guess what? Nobody will see that stain. Mm-hmm. Nobody see that stain mark on your face before you get to work. Mm-hmm. Nobody see the stain mark on your face, the tears as it mark your cheeks every time you drop off your child at school, because there might be another child somewhere that you're dropping off at school. Good morning, principal, this. Good morning, teacher. And they don't see that stain mark that you were crying to say, I wanted to bear a child. Mm-hmm. I just had a miscarriage last week. Mm-hmm. I had 2 miscarriages. Mm-hmm. Nobody sees this because you're in a bubble all by yourself because, oh no, nobody will understand. Nobody will understand what I'm going through, but that's you critiquing yourself. You telling yourself that nobody is out there. We put ourselves into the space all the time. Oh, nobody's out there. Mm-hmm. Nobody's in my corner.
You start to create your own reality, and it could be at our own detriment.
Yeah. And it goes to how you have the little your brand, the amazing corner, because we are amazing by ourselves, but yet we refuse to accept this because we're waiting for validation. Mm-hmm. We're waiting for validation. And I want to go into there's a infertility, and I'm going to switch it in just a different gear.
Okay.
As women, I'm going to switch it out of that because the word barren is strong. Mm-hmm. Very strong, and it's very dark. Very dark. And I want to say to someone right now that barren, we could be barren not only because we are a woman and we are not giving life to another child, but we are barren in different ways. Mm-hmm. We are barren in our gifts and our talents that were already inside of us before we were even thinking about being a mother.
That's good. I love it.
We weren't born just like, oh, you're going to be a mother. We were born with our gifts attached to us in our DNA. They were there already. So we grow up into this being and we become barren. Where's the gifts?
Yeah. And I agree. So that's been on my mind a lot lately. On my social media page, I do a motivational Monday every morning, and I thought about that barrenness because God, and I think we think about bearing fruit only as bearing children. God wants us to have fruitful in our lives. He wants us to multiply in so many ways in doing His work and empowering and enriching people and supporting people and growing His kingdom. So I wholeheartedly agree with you. Barrenness means not bearing fruit and not only children as that example of multiplying.
Yeah, because there's a scripture that says, be fruitful and multiply. And I think when a lot of people read that scripture, they're only talking about children.
Right.
But it's overall your finance.
Abundance.
Abundance. Your mental state of mind. Abundance. Your emotional state of mind. Abundance. Your spiritual state of mind. Abundance. Your social.
Yeah, and I think if you're a woman going through infertility, if you shift some of that energy to this space, it'll help you get through this a lot easier.
Yeah, because all it takes is for you to shift energy. That's it. All you got to do is adjust your mindset. Okay, if you want to have a child, so let's go back again. If you want to have a child, that child is not forming inside of you for God reason. But let's switch that and say, guess what? I am going to occupy myself with something spiritually. Let's occupy that with something financially.
And it doesn't mean you have to give up your desire to have a child.
You're not giving it up.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong for wanting a child.
No.
It's just that's not all God has created us to be. So we want to just make sure we are focusing on the whole person that God made. And like you said, not being barren with the gifts that He gave us.
Yeah. So we're not putting out that statement that we don't want you to get it wrong, that we're saying that you should not have the desire to have a child. We should all have the desire to have a child. Yes, we should all have that desire. But we should all have the desire to acquire something more. More, because regardless, we are life bearers. So regardless of that child being born, that child being formed inside of you, there are other things. Where are your gifts? Where are your passion? What is your purpose? Oftentimes we sit there and we don't have our purpose lined out. We don't even know what's our purpose.
And a lot of women struggling with infertility feel like they don't have a purpose once they realize they can't bear children.
Exactly.
So a lot of times I think we are bred to be mothers or bred to be wives, and we see bearing children as one of those key moments in that. And I don't think that that's unnatural, but I do think that that's not all we're shaped to be.
No, that's not your entire purpose on this earth. Yeah. That is not your entire purpose, because of course we have to fill up the earth. So yeah, we're gonna have to bring children, but there are other areas, and it is kind of like a thing where you're married, you should have a child. You're married, you should have a child. So 1 year passed, 2 years spot. Oh, why are you not pregnant? Because God is not ready for me to bring forth a child. Maybe you need to deal with some more issues that's going on before you bring forth life. Because oftentimes there are traumas, there are situations, there circumstances that we have not dealt with, but yet we want to bring life into this kind of circumstance and this kind of situation. And I don't think it's fair for us to bring a child into something that we are not healed from. We have to be fully healed. Because what is the purpose of you bringing life to a child into a situation that you have not grown from, you have not healed from? Yeah. And often we as women, we don't evaluate things.
Yeah.
For one, we want to compete with the neighbors.
Yeah. But I agree. Society has made it seem like females are only good for having kids. And in some cultures, you are kind of like, I don't know what the word is, but like I know in the Asian culture, if a man can't bear a male child, then he's seen as an outcast. I know in certain, African cultures and Hispanic cultures, you are seen, as something very negative if you aren't able to bear kids. So that becomes another reason for grief and isolation and shame and guilt because of the societal norms that are put on us from generations past.
What would you like to tell that woman right now? Look at that woman. Because I like to call women forth. I like to call women in alignment. I like to call women and say, come forth, woman.
Yeah. You are enough.
Let us acknowledge who we really are.
Mm-hmm.
Let us stand our ground as goddess. Let us know that we are in alignment. Let us fall into place. So I like to call women forward to say, come and find your authentic self with us.
Yeah. I would
So
say
what would you like to say that one woman right now who believe barren or infertility is the end of the road?
Yeah, I would say that you are enough. You can still have purpose. You can still have joy. And you can still have a full life. And that desire that you have to nurture and rear and influence and care for, you can still use that gift to nurture and care for other children and people who need caregivers. There's so many forgotten people in this world. So I would say you can still, as you're waiting for your child, I would encourage you to continue to still nurture that gift. I mean, use that gift that God has given you to nurture, to support, to love, to give, to raise, to influence to the people that are around you and the people that are accessible to you. So you are enough just the way you are. And you can still use everything that God has given you, all the desires of your heart. And that's it.
And I couldn't have said that any better. So we are going to jump into, I hope you're drinking your water or whatever you're drinking, because I try to sip my tea, honey. Yep, I try to do that. We are going to go into the amazing corner because I did my research. Yes, I did. I did my research. But before we jump into the amazing corner, because you see, you got some stuff going on, sis.
Thank you, God. Look, thanks be unto God.
Look, some stuff going on. You got some stuff. You're doing some stuff out there. But first, before I get into what you're doing out there, I'm going to put up a picture right here.
Uh-oh.
What's the assignment, honey?
Oh, the assignment is the class reunion. It's a class reunion, the 25th, and I had to let them know sis still got it.
I was like, oh, she got the assignment.
Yeah, I wanted to say she bad. Oh gosh, I was so scared to know what picture you were going to show. I'm like, oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, my dear viewers, you see, on this show, it's Thursday. Anything. You see, this show is about this, okay? This is about the space. This show is about the space. We do these kind of stuff on this show. Because I had to bring up something here because sister said she got the assignment. So if y'all don't learn nothing tonight, you better learn the assignment. And when you learn it, you better learn it well, because right here she's like, I got it. I'm like, I got the assignment. What? I know you ain't talking to me. Well, honey, did you not rock that?
Thank you.
Oh, I was like,
All right.
I was like, excuse me? What was the assignment?
Yeah.
Honey, you took it out.
Thank you so much.
I know they're like, she ain't coming up in here like that. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah? Let me tell you something, orders. And I'm going to tell you, sis, let me tell you, anywhere you step your ground, that someone will remember you.
Yes.
That when they remember you, they won't remember you for the bad, but they will remember you for the good.
Yes.
They will remember like, oh, she was so fabulous. Yep, be the most fabulous person there.
Right. And you should think that before anyone else does. Don't wait for any validation. You don't have to make no grand entrance. No, when you show up, there's nothing else matters. Every single woman should think that.
Show up and show out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to put out your garbage, show up and show out, honey. Listen, I used to work with a lady years ago, and that lady had told me this, and I may her soul rest in peace, because that lady told me that years ago. She said, let me tell you something, honey. Anytime you step outside of your house, you make sure that you step out right.
Yeah, that's some of our old school values that we forget. So I learned that definitely from my grandmother. We were taught to show up. Show up and show up.
You don't play. They're like, they're like, oh, here she come again. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Because you represent more than you.
Honey, you represent your whole family, a whole generation, a whole world. You represent the whole community.
Yes.
You're representing
a culture. Yes.
Let me tell you something. You're representing royalty, baby. You're representing royalty. So you gotta step in. You're not just stepping representing any and anybody.
And beauty doesn't look just one way.
Beauty is not this. Mm-hmm. Let's get this. Beauty is not this. Our beauty is not defined by what we wear, how we got our hair, our high cheekbones, our eyes, our full lips. That's not beauty. Beauty is here. And our relationship with the Most High. That is beauty. So when our beauty comes out, baby, it's going to radiate. So if y'all can't stand it, put on some shades. That's all I'm trying to tell you. That's all I'm going to tell you. Put on some shades if you can't stand when I show, because I'm going to show up and show out. Get it? Next up.
Uh-oh.
Yes, ma'am. What's the next one?
Aww.
There we go.
She did her homework for sure.
Talk to us. Talk to us, sis. Talk to us.
So this is my family. That is my husband, Che Sr., and my son, Che Jr., and we definitely influence each other for the better. And we are in a space in our lives right now where we want to influence those around us and everybody that we encounter. So if you see us right there in those potential to stack dough shirts, we are on a path of financial freedom, of debt reduction, and of generational wealth. And we include our son in everything that we do, from budgeting to investing to stocks to saving to buying. So we've been doing that with him since he's been born. He already has stocks. He already has investments. He also has some things with his cousins. My husband and my son do stock meetings once a month with a couple of my nephews and a couple close friends, where they get to learn on their age level different stock terms and terminologies and wealth building things. And as a reward for attending these meetings, they get a stipend each time to invest in whatever stock that they would like. And my husband allows them to pick whichever stock they like, and he encourages them to buy stock in things that they enjoy, the things that they are spending money on. So I would say like Nickelodeon and Netflix and Fortnite and Roblox. Those are things my nephews and sons are all in. So they buy stocks and stuff like that, ESPN. So they're not just being consumers, they are also being owners. Because once you buy stocks, you are a part owner. That means you have a say in it. You can attend those stock meetings and things like that. So we just wanted to share during the month of March, every day I share different stock tips. Not stock tips, because my husband's the stock guy. Different saving tips and wealth building tips. And I have that on my blog. If you go to theamazingcorner.com and go to the Amazing Family blog, once a week for 5 weeks, I share different ways to save money, to build wealth, reduce debt. So you can definitely go back into those archives and start at the first week in March. And there's practical things that anybody could do in any space that they are in. You don't have to wait until you have a plethora of finances, till you get a second job. I shared things that anybody can do literally right now to save money. So that was the Potential to Stack Dough challenge. The first 2 months I talked about purging, preparing, planning, and then we started to stack some dough. So that was a picture of my family, and I thank Verona for sharing that. My husband does a free budget meeting. On social media, he is Che Willis. So if you want to follow him, and he isn't on social media a lot, he literally gets on social media just to encourage you to build wealth, reduce debt, and he shares a free budget meeting that he does about once a month. And he just talks about how we budget as a family, what works for us. He's not a financial advisor. He doesn't have any, his bachelor's degree is in marketing and he's in sales. but he has done a phenomenal job of building wealth and saving and reducing debt for our family. So he just wants to share that with you and see if that's something that you can learn from and grow from and start to do on your own. So that's pretty much it. That was a lot. I'm sorry.
You don't apologize here, honey. Listen, we don't apologize unnecessary here.
Yeah.
You went on, and that's what I want you to do.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, ma'am. So you listen, audience, you heard all of that. Simply mean you need to be on my sister's tail and you follow what she's doing.
Yeah.
What she's doing. That is exactly why she's here. For you to sit here because we support each other.
Yes.
And when we support each other, success is for all of us.
Yes.
So all that mouthful, hello, is just not for talk.
And that goes back to bearing that fruit, right?
You better say it.
It's time to multiply. It's time for all of us to get it. So much out there for all of us. And we don't have to worry about hoarding it, keeping to ourselves, someone stealing it from us. There's abundance.
And I think when we have that mindset that we can share, we are not greedy, because there's something called a greedy mindset, a selfish mindset. And when we do that, is where we gravitate to so many things to ourselves. Mm-hmm. We look and we're like, okay, we got 20 pairs of shoes, but somebody don't even have one. Mm-hmm. What are you doing with all of that?
Yes.
You're eating a whole course meal. Of course, we're entitled to. But somebody else don't have a spoonful of soup. But are you thinking about that person? Or are you just thinking about you just going to have like 10-course meal?
Right.
Right? So let us get out of this greedy, selfish mindset and think about success and being fruitful. And being fruitful is where we're sharing. Mm-hmm. We are sharing what we acquire already. Just how you just gave that whole mouthful of the things that you and your family are acquiring. Yeah. You're sharing that.
And taking it back to the National Infertility Awareness Week, just because you can't have a child, you're not going to bless people.
Exactly.
You're not going to love on people. You're not going to nurture people. You're not going to give people to people.
Exactly. So it doesn't make sense, audience. It doesn't make sense for us to still stuck with this mindset. There's a generational curse that's overtaking us, and we have to break it and start create generational blessings. Mm-hmm. We have to learn to put blessing in line. And I celebrate you and your husband of what you're doing with your family, because it goes where you're saying, listen, I have to build up what I have.
Yes.
I have to multiply what I have. I have to be fruitful in this basket that was handed to me. A basket was handed to you, and you're just gonna like, hey,
yeah,
what is happening here? No, fruitful, multiply. I think
my son is like that seed that I have to now nurture and be a good steward over so it can grow.
Hello. The boy is a published author already. That's one step. Let me tell you something about a published author. That is the biggest key out there. That's the biggest key. When you have that key, that's a business key, honey. Mm-hmm. That's a business key. And once you breathe out one book, I'll be sure there are many books to come out.
Yeah.
There are many books. So be fruitful and multiply. I'm not good in math, but I know multiplication means it's a lot. I know. I'm never good in math. I was not a math person. I never like it. No, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, do all your stuff. But all I know that word multiply, it means to expand.
Yes.
To grow, to get bigger. Mm-hmm. So why are we being selfish? Why? No, wrong. You cannot give life to a child, give life to somebody else's. That moment, I'm going to ask you this, my dear. That moment when you realize that you couldn't give birth, you couldn't carry a seed, because first of all, let me go back just a thought, because a seed is in you already. Mm-hmm. That seed was already in you. We just need to fertilize it, right? So a seed was already placed inside of you. Mm-hmm. When you realize that that seed was not developing to come forth, now you went into the state of disappointment and shame and pain and hurt and angry at God, like, hey, God, hey.
And why me? Yeah.
Why me? Because we oftentimes ask that. Why me? But God is saying, why not you? Right? But we don't want to hear that. No, I'm not saying why me. I need to have a child. Oh, no. Look at me right here. That moment when you got into that mold, that hurt, that barren state, painful, because we addressed that. Now, give us that moment when you evolved, when you came out of that.
Yeah. I want to first say I know it's different to have, because a lot of women who have infertility issues have no kids. So I definitely think you're in a different space when you at least have one. It's definitely a big difference.
Yes.
So I don't know where I would be if I didn't. So I always want to acknowledge that, because it's definitely different. Because I talk to a lot of women who don't, and that hurt and pain is so deeply rooted. Yes. I think, like I said, learning that I wasn't alone, and it's literally millions of people going through this, that was one of my aha moments, that I knew that I didn't have to live in shame and silence and grief and desperation. And then I really, like you said, call God on his word. I've been going to church since I was a child. And I don't want to be religious. I want God to do what he says, because otherwise I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't want to go to church every Sunday. I don't want to read my Bible if it's not going to come true for my life.
Tell the truth.
So I think that's my space of contentment, and it helped me not to be in that heavy laden stress that I see some women go through. Because I definitely believed God's word. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I felt guilty seeking infertility treatment. So I went through a lot of things that women go through. But I just knew that he would give me the desires of my heart. And I also knew that this wasn't all he called me to be.
And with that said, I know you're out there doing some other stuff. No, I'm not going to be putting up no more stunt on you. But I know you're out there doing some other stuff. So what is it that you have upcoming? Because I know, audience, let me tell you, she's out there doing health and wellness.
Yes. I was hoping I had a moment to share that, so thank you.
So I am going to give you this time to talk about your health and wellness program that you have out there, and your events that you have, and talk to us, sis.
Absolutely. So guys, I would love to invite you, if you are in the Newcastle, Delaware area, in Middletown, Delaware. I am hosting my second annual health and wellness event. And at this event, we will be providing 4 different free exercises, a half hour each time, of strength training, cardio, kickboxing, Zumba, and kids fitness. We'll have so many free giveaways and raffles, and there's going to be so many resources for the community. We have substance abuse providers coming. We have grief support coming. We have health and mental wellness. We have nutrition supplements coming of all sorts. So I invite you to go to Eventbrite and look for my name, Tanerra Willis, or Health and Wellness in Middletown, Delaware. I am asking people to RSVP because we want to make sure we have enough supplies, staff. We also will have music and raffles. So that's what I have going next. That's my baby right now. This is going to happen June 18th. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you are a vendor, meaning if you have a health and wellness product, solution, service, apparel, or merchandise, you would be an excellent vendor for this event. So you can also go to Eventbrite and sign up to be a vendor there, or you can email me at contact@theamazingcorner.com to learn more or to ask any questions you might have. And it's the middle of the year. A lot of times we want to start New Year's resolutions at the end of the year or begin at the beginning of the year. In the middle of the year, sometimes we need a boost and a restart. I honestly am very inconsistent in my diet and in my health and exercise. So this is why I do that, because I love to exercise with friends. I like to make it fun. I like cool music. I like community. So that's why I do it, on top of me being a registered nurse. I know that I'm sitting here trying to have the amazing corner and amazing family enterprises. You cannot have an amazing life and be unhealthy and not be well. So come on out. contact me at contact@theamazingcorner.com or go to Eventbrite and look for a health and wellness event in Middletown, Delaware. And you can RSVP and join us for the party.
Listen, get with it, because guess what? Without us being healthy,
right,
we cannot be fruitful.
And why have abundance that you can't enjoy?
Healthy
or have your life cut off or having bad health. So let's get it together.
Let's get it together, people.
Together. Let's get it together together.
Together to the second level, up. Because we cannot accomplish much if we are unhealthy.
Yes.
Let's straighten that out right now. We cannot accomplish much unless we are healthy. We need to have that health. We need to have that healthy mindset and the healthy body.
Right.
To accomplish and to be fruitful and to multiply.
Right.
So we are winding down this episode. We are going to find a way to put in that information in the chat. But we are winding down this episode, and I'm going to thank you enough, to be here. I just need to have you back. Yes, when the event, I need to just be at this event, or we need to do
please come.
I need to have to be there, do a live event or something here, or live recorded or something. We need to have you back here with us. We're closing out April on high note, seriously high note. And once we are closing out on high note, oh, believe me, simple means there are windows opening.
Yeah.
So let us go on into May with a open mindset to acquire that which we were created for, to fulfill our purpose, to be fruitful and multiply. May is what? The 5th month of 2022. Let us not have the same mindset from the first month.
Yes.
No, there's no way under the sun we're supposed to get to May and still having the same mindset.
Right, I agree.
No. So, sis, what is your social media handle so we can follow you and,
Yeah. So all of my primary are The Amazing Corner, both on Instagram and Facebook. My website is also theamazingcorner.com. If you're a part of the infertility community and you just need more support and you want to see not just the women who are coming together in grief, but are still fighting for their joy and their peace, I have a separate Instagram page called almost_Barren. But either way, you're going to see nothing but positivity, encouragement, and resources from me. So I would love for you guys to connect with me that way. And you can also go to theamazingcorner.com and join my mailing list. You'll know each time I publish a blog, each time I have an event, each time I have a sale or some discounts. The potential to stack those shirts will probably come out once more. So you want to be notified of when they're available so you can be a part of sharing that narrative and encouraging people. And they come in all different colors, women and children. And as a family, we know that we all have potential to stack dough. Wealth is not just for a certain person, a certain color, a certain socioeconomic class or culture. Wealth is attainable to everybody.
Oh, and that's everybody's a keyword, people. We all are here to acquire wealth. That's it. We're created for this. So if you have extra wealth, extra riches, please share. Please share. You share information or you share the wealth by itself. Yeah. Share. Regardless, the keyword is share. As you can look in the chat, you see that the book link is in the chat. It is on Amazon. No, that's not on Amazon. That's on theamazingcorner.com. Please go out there. Please purchase a book. If not for yourself, purchase it for someone. Purchase it for a sister. Take it in your community. Take it into your church. Take it to school and share this information.
And just one thing, if you go to my website, it's 50% off until April the 30th. If you use code NIAW, and you can get it. It is available on Amazon, but it's not 50% off there. Yeah. If you go to my website, you can get it 50% off until the 30th of April.
Okay, this year I hear that because we like sales, honey. We like
Yes.
some sales. We like some good sales, and we as women we gonna get some sales
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay, so we like sales. So again, tell us again.
Yes, go to amazingcorner.com, go to shop, go to book, and you use the code NIAW. N is in Nancy, excuse me, I is in igloo, A is in apple, W for women.
There we go. And then you get your percentage off. And please, when you do so, come back and let us know about your book. So, my sis, I can't thank you enough. So I like to send off oh my goodness, like my heart is full. I closed the door on April episode with a full heart.
Oh, thank you.
I have to breathe. Yeah, I'm breathing. I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to send off my guests into a space of abundance, into a space of peace and prosperity, into a space of love, into a space of strength and courage, into that space, a space of your own, a space for your family, a space for your community, and a space for anywhere that you trod. Anywhere the Lord lead you, I send those with you. And to know that any step you make, always, and always believe and know for surety that God is not only in front of you, but He's around you.
Amen.
He's around you. So anything that you set out to do, just know that you are surrounded.
Amen.
Know that your basket is not empty.
Amen.
Your basket got things in there, there are eggs in there, because eggs are seeds. Know that they're in there. Don't allow anyone to break your eggs. Don't allow anyone to crush your seeds. So as your seed flourish, may they flourish in love. May they flourish in true success. That when you reach somewhere, always remember to come back.
All right.
Somebody.
Thank you so much.
To always. So as we close out this episode, I want to throw out a question. I usually have an off question. A question that has nothing to do with your work, a question that has nothing to do with your book, but I call it one of my fun questions to close out the show. But before I do that, I would ask you if you have a last word that you want to give to the audience or to one specific woman. Please, by all means, give that one last statement.
Awesome. I would want to remind you, just in case you forgot, that God made you perfectly amazing. He has given you a gift to be something amazing for His world and for yourself. Don't continue to watch other people accomplish their dream and attain their desires. You can do it as well. Be encouraged. Take baby steps. Don't be afraid to fail, but fail forward. Every time you fail, you're failing a step in the right direction. So create that momentum and keep moving. You might not be moving at the same pace of anyone else, but as long as you keep moving, you will get to the finish line. That's it.
Keep moving. I learned this because I want to put just the icing on what you just said. And I learned this, that we must keep moving like water.
Mm-hmm.
If you visualize a river got rocks and dirt and trees and garbage and everything in there. But none of those things cannot stop the water from flowing.
Mm-hmm.
We are water. We are from water. We are the source of water. And no one knows where that source of water starts from. Let me tell you, your source is from God.
Mm-hmm.
So always move with that force. That no matter how many stones are in your way, no matter how many rocks, how many garbage are in your way, keep flowing.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
So here's your fun question for tonight. Ready? What's the last lie you told?
What is the last lie I've told? Oh my gosh. Lord have mercy. I don't know. I try not to lie. I'm pretty honest. I'm one of those people who are very transparent and I don't lie well. I would guess it would be something with my husband. You know, sometimes when you don't want to create a fight or argument, you act like you're good, you're okay, you may not really be good with it. So I think that was my last lie. It was more so just keeping my mouth shut when I really wanted to say some other things. I wasn't telling my truth for the sake of peace.
I'm just saying.
And that's a daily thing.
And that's a lie. So, audience, here we go. As we close down this episode, I just want to say thank everyone for showing up. First timer Stephanie, thank you so much for being here. And Cheryl, thank you so much for being here. And for those of you who will be watching this on the replay, thank you. For those who are on Facebook that don't identify yourself, not Facebook, on YouTube land, thank you. We thank you so much for being here, for supporting us. Again, if you are seeing that live up there, that live up there simply means you are in the live audience. So if you are watching, if you will watch this and you don't see that, simply means you're watching the replay. So I ask you to just hashtag replay so we know that you are with us. And please subscribe to the channel. Press the notification button so whenever we go live again, guess what's going to happen? You will know.
That's right.
So as we say good night, peace and blessing to each and every one of you. May you understand that God himself is time. As I leave that with you, I'm going to ask you the question. Are you free enough mentally? Take that question, answer it. You don't have to put it in the chat. Just think about it as we say good night. We hope to see you in May, which is next week. We're going to have a whole new episode. Child's Month. Funny how that came right in. Have a great night, everyone.